Yeah, from our last discussions, leaders. So we talked about 2 lessons, evolution of leadership, and also we discussed leadership development phases. So the 3 categories that we handled, 3 categories of leadership, just to do a quick recap as I hand over to Reverend Kahindi. 3 categories of leadership, if you can recall.
There's religious, political, and okay, forgotten the other one.
Yeah, so we had religious, political, and military.
Yes.
Yeah, and we said all of them have their place. They all have their place, and they all complement each other in a particular way. And we were able to derive quite a number of lessons from all these 3 categories of leadership. And particularly for religious leadership, we said it's all about relationships. And then we talked about the theories of leadership. We looked quite a number of them, about 10. And I think this one, it came out from our self-evaluation. I could see some of you indicated you're more inclined to situational leadership style. And that is more of part of self-awareness. Again, we discussed leadership development phases. And there were 3 key leadership development phases. Maybe we can recall that, the 3 leadership phases. 3 key leadership phases that we discussed from our class last time. Anybody who can refresh our memory?
Yeah, we spoke about preparing for leadership. Then we went to the other one, which was reading, then giving back.
Pastor Elijah, you're a little bit, your volume is a little bit down. We can't hear you well. Let's try again. Please unmute.
I was saying about the 3 phases. The first one was preparing for leadership. The next one was reading and then giving back to the community.
Yeah, so those were the 3 categories. Thank you, Pastor Elijah. One is preparing for leadership, character formation, the identity, my identity as a leader, being able to build the inner person. And then we get into the space of leadership, taking the initiative, getting into the front part of, or front side of the leadership aspect. Basically, we're talking about, this is where you are in the game. This is where you are cruising. You're cruising and you're serving yourself out because you have been able to identify yourself, you have built an identity, you've built the foundation. Now you can be able to lead. And then we said the issue of generativity. The best gift we can give to other people is to be able to pass the knowledge and the experience that we have been able to gather. So generativity is basically here to give back to community in terms of knowledge, in terms of experience, in terms of mentorship, and so many other areas that we feel it's something that we can pass to the next generation. So thank you so much for that recap. Otherwise, we have been with Reverend Kahindi again in a previous session, I guess. So Reverend Kahindi, this is cohort 14. And we've worked together quite well, just been able to really interact together as a team. And therefore tonight we are happy to have you, Reverend Kahindi. He has 2 roles. I think he mentioned last time that he takes care of people's heart and also he takes care of people's pocket. Yeah, so it's heart and pocket. And that means he's a pastor and he's a KCB branch manager in Shujaa Mall. So you find him in the bank or in the church. And therefore, it's a pleasure just to have you tonight as you take us through lesson 9 so that we can be able to look at the roles of a leader and internalize them in our journey of leadership. Otherwise, karibu and please proceed.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Good evening, leaders. If you can hear me, please just give me an indication. Digitally, physically, can you hear me?
Yes, good evening.
Hear you loud and clear.
Yes.
Great.
Yes,
So,
you can hear.
karibuni sana. We are now rolling to lesson number 9. Seems like you guys have really progressed well, and it is good that you are making progress. So without any other ado, let's just move to lesson number 9, the role of leadership. The role of leadership. What is it about that leaders do? What is their role? You are a leader. What is your role? We have a number of surveys and a number of people who have said, who have explained, and the first one I want us to look at is one called Frank Covey. According to him, there are 4 roles that leaders play that are highly predictive of the success. So these are the roles that determine how successful will be as leaders consciously lead themselves and their teams. Align with these roles, they lay effective leadership. And the first one there is creating or casting a vision. The second one is to execute a strategy. Number 3 is to inspire trust amongst the team and team members. Number 4, according to Frank Covey, is to coach potential. These roles are the ones that determine how successful someone is. And I just want us to take a minute just to go to details of these 4. The first one we said is create a vision. So the role is to clearly define where your organization or team is and where it is supposed to be, or where it's supposed to be going. So you cast that vision. Vision simply means a picture of where you want to be. When you say you are successful, what is it that will make you confirm that you are successful? That vision, that picture, the mental picture you have. Number 2 is to execute strategy. That's to consistently achieve results with and through others using disciplined processes. Now, sometimes it's very easy as an individual to just do something that succeeds, but it becomes difficult, and that's the calling of a leader, now to work through others, because others may want to discourage you, they may want to go slow. If you are alone, you will go very fast. But as a you need to that going alone does not guarantee you are going far. So the achievements will have to come through others. 3, to inspire trust. Be the credible leader others choose to follow. One with both character and competence. One that they can trust. Because when they do not trust you, then they cannot follow you. Number 4, the coaching of potential. You unleash the ability of each person on your team to improve performance, solve problems, and grow their talents, abilities, and potential by coaching them. Being a leader, there is something you know that others don't know, and you need to share that. Also, amongst your team, there are others who know things that other people don't know. So you need to have a system of getting that knowledge shared so that the ones who know can improve on the knowledge of the others that know less. Okay. According to 1000ventures.com, they came up with 12 roles of a corporate leader, and these ones they grouped into 3 categories. And these categories visioning and leading the way, empowering and energizing. Number 3, encouraging teamwork. Then the subcategories that they came up with under visioning and leading the way is create an inspiring vision and shared values. So you create a vision that will be inspiring to the others. They'll be willing to follow. They shall do it with enthusiasm because it's inspiring them. And then you bring them together with shared values. What you value, what the institution values, and what they value is shared. This reminds me of another advert. He says the numbers that matter to you are the numbers that matter to us. So when somebody tells you like that, you feel like you belong here there. Number 2, under that category is you lead change. And the change is one difficult thing to initiate and to lead. As you might have come across one of those, that call it cartoons or what. When people are asked who wants change, and everybody wants change. Then who wants to change? Nobody wants to change. And who wants to lead change? People all run away because nobody wants to lead change. People want the status quo to remain. Number 3 is lead by example. Always lead by example because you are an open book. What you do speaks volumes more than what you say. Number 4 under that category is demonstrate confidence. They say an army of sheep led by a lion can easily defeat an army of lions led by a sheep. And this talks of the confidence that the leader demonstrates. It encourages the people, the team down there, and they feel like we are very strong. So if the sheep is leading, it will obviously fear, and therefore it cannot have that confidence. So be the lion that is leading. Category number 2, empowering and energizing. Is you inspire and energize the people. And subcategory number 2 is empower the people. How do you empower? Through delegation and communicate openly. Communication, communication, communication. In fact, somebody said leadership is just communication. No communication, no leadership. This course has a whole topic on that. So you'll have a lesson that you will be dealing with the power of communication in leadership. So here says communicate openly. Subcategory 4 says listen, support, and help. Listen, support, and help. This speaks to getting the people feeling sure that if they need anything, if they are worried, they can have somebody to listen to. And when they have problems, somebody will support them, and that's their leader. Category number 3 is encouraging teamwork. So involve everyone. Use team approach. Don't be a leader who picks on the one who performs best. And always you are picking on the one who performs best. The one who is not as good will feel as if he's not part of that team and the team cannot stand. So involve everybody. Then coach, bring out the best in your people. There is something good in everyone that is better or is not found in somebody else. So if everybody brings his best, you'll find the team becomes stronger. Before says encourage group decision. When others group, encourage it. Sometimes don't just make the decisions alone. You are not the know-it-all leader. And the last one says monitor progress, but do not micromanage. Because when you micromanage, you do not get the value in that person. That ability in that person cannot come out because they are not free to do what they can do. So if you give them space, you will be surprised with what the outcome that you get. Now, if we may compare between Frank Covey's findings or categories and the 1,000 ventures categories, You find under Frank Covey, you are having create vision, execute strategy, inspire trust, and coach potential. This other side, you are having visioning and leading the way, empowering and energizing, encouraging teamwork. These things marry at some point, and you see, create vision and execute strategy is what 1000 Ventures said, visioning and leading the way. Inspire trust is encourage teamwork, and coach potential is empowering and energizing. So there, at least those two meet at some point. Now the categories are further broken down to specific roles. So under these categories, there are specific roles. So category one that was talking about create an inspiring vision and lead by example. The specific roles were under that is create an inspiring vision, establish shared values, give vision and set stretch goals. Here, I think you learned something in, I think lesson 2 was talking about leadership gap. And maybe you came across this sentence, we say, there is too many leaders around, but very little leadership. So under this category here, you need to give direction. You need to establish, give a vision, then have some goals, stress them so that people can give their best. Number 2, manage change strategically, create change, overcome resistance and lead change. Again, change. We normally say, as a leader, you need to be comfortable being uncomfortable. Because being a leader, you must always seek to change things for the better. And the change is uncomfortable. So be comfortable being uncomfortable so that you can change and improve on the performance and on the value of the people. Number 3, lead by example. Practice what you preach, set an example and share risks and hardships. Number 4, demonstrate confidence, win respect and trust. I think that one I've elaborated it enough. Let me just get a few quotations here or quotes. I know you've come across these ones. The first one from Proverbs 20:18 says, where there is no vision, the people perish. That's how important the vision is. If there's no vision, then people perish. And when there is no prophetic vision, the people cast off restraint. So if you don't give a good vision that prophesies to their lives, there will be no restraint in the organization. And where there is no vision, the people are uncontrolled. That means there is no leader. So we equate leadership to vision, or vision to leadership. Secondly, the very essence of leadership is that you have to have a vision. It is got to be a vision you articulate clearly and forcefully on every occasion. This is by Theodore Hesburgh. So you must articulate your vision clearly and always communicate it. Henry Kissinger puts it this way: the task of the leader is to get his people from where they are to where they have not been. And for you to take them to where they have not been, you must have the vision of reaching there. Category number 2, empower, inspire, and energize people. The task under this is be enthusiastic. For you to inspire. Give energy. Whatever you do, do it with energy, and the people will be energized. Create a positive work environment. A leader actually creates the emotions of the team. If you one day walk to the team and you are very sad, chances are all the chats will go down and everybody will be sad. But if you go there and you're upbeat, full of energy, even the ones who are feeling like they thought they had headaches, you infect them with your smiles and energy. So always positive work environment. You are the one to create it. Empower people, delegate authority, be open to ideas, and have faith in the creativity of others. Allow them to exercise their creativity. Delegate to them. After all, what can they mess? Of course, you control to some extent, but give them freedom because they have to learn from there. And who said that you are the best brain on earth? You never know. Maybe the young man next to you has the solution to the problems you've been fighting with. And if you only allow them, your work will become easier. Next is communicate openly and honestly, give clear guidelines, set clear expectations. Don't assume. You know, my boss normally says people always do what you tell them to. So if you don't tell them to, they will not do anything. So set clear expectations. And then now you can measure against this the expectation and how far have you gone with this. And lastly, empathize. Be willing to discuss and solve problems. Listen with understanding, support and help. Empathize. It is all life. You need to enjoy it. And when you connect with them, you make friends. Now, category number 3, build and lead a team. We said use team approach, facilitate cooperation amongst the people there, put some good mood in them and some friendliness. Trust your team, rely on their judgments. Yes, and it will help you. Bring out the best in your people. Have common touch with them. Coach and provide effective feedback. So when somebody does something right, let them know this is right. When they do something that is not very good, train them so they can do it better. We say critique, do not criticize. Okay. Then permit group decision, help your team to reach better decisions. Now that you might be more experienced, just guide them to get better decisions. Monitor progress, but do not micromanage. We are repeating this. Lead your team, avoid close supervision, that they have no breathing space. You stand behind somebody and ask, have you done this? I said you do this. When are you going to do this? It is kind of suffocating. Okay. Now, the role of leadership on this slide, leadership, as I mentioned earlier, is all about vision. So one is vision formation, then vision planning, then communicating, declaring that vision to your people. Vision execution. Put some strategies and work on them to achieve your vision. Then vision tracking, that the things that you are doing, you are tracking to make sure that you are achieving them or you are improving on them. Then you review and reform your vision. So go back to vision formation so that it becomes better and better. So it's a whole circle. And these things cannot happen without a leader. Now, there is someone here we are calling a 360-degree leader. A 360-degree leader is in between there, that center circle. And as a leader, you need to lead upwards, you lead laterally, and you lead below. But you begin by leading intrinsically. What do I mean? A 360-degree leader must lead self first. Then should be able to lead those who are your peers. That's lateral leadership. You will find yourself leading upwards. That is, you are leading your boss at some point. And the common one that we normally know when you hear a leader is leading downwards, your subordinates. So always look at it this way, because you need to manage your boss, you need to manage your peers, you need to manage yourself, you need to manage subordinates. You need to lead all these 4 categories of people, beginning with yourself. If you cannot lead yourself, then there is no one that you can lead. Now, the role of leadership. Leaders cast vision, they inspire trust and hope. They influence and impact positive change. Inspirational leaders plan with their head and they lead with their hearts. Say, when you are doing your plans, your head properly. Lead with your head up in the sky, but your feet on the ground. You need to lead with your heart because you are leading people. They appeal to people's hearts more than their minds. They influence through servant heart leadership. John Maxwell put it this way: effective leaders know that you first have to touch people's hearts before you can ask for their hands. And that's the law of connection. Now, the role of leadership is so important because, as you know, nothing is initiated without leaders. Nothing is improved without leaders. Nothing can be corrected without leaders. Without leaders, nothing happens, whether good or bad, positive or negative, do not happen without leaders. So leadership basically determines everything. Now, you pick these roles and do them effectively. As I come to a close, I want to give you this challenge. As a leader, what leadership roles are you playing to influence positive change in the society to create a better world? As a leader, what leadership roles, of the roles that you mentioned there, are you playing to influence positive change in the society to create a better world? I think this one is found in your manual. Also, you can get it on page, the challenge is on page 49. And with that, thank you very much. That has been lesson number 9. May I take 1 or 2 reactions either on the chat or if you want you my network had disappeared. I don't know. Did you experience the same?
Yeah, Reverend.
Yes, Chairman.
Yeah, we seem to be losing you a little bit. I thought even it was on my side.
No, I got off, and then when I came back, said the recording in progress. So it seems like the whole system had gone off. So we need to be sure that people are back in. Okay, hand it over to you, Chairman. Thank you very much, leaders.
Yeah, thank you so much, Reverend. We appreciate and we're grateful. I hope leaders have been able to follow through. I know there was a little bit of a network challenge. I don't know how it was on your side. Were you able to follow through the lesson clearly? Maybe someone can just help us understand that.
Yeah, I think it was okay until the point where the leadership challenge came in. The rest was fine.
Okay. So thank you, Reverend. Any reaction, any comment, any question for our Reverend regarding the roles of a leader? Yeah, so I guess been able to follow through clearly, and maybe just to put it into context, let's think about Vision 2030. let's think about Vision 2030. What does Vision 2030 talk about? And what is the strategy of Vision 2030? Maybe that will help us just to appreciate the context of the roles of a leader. I remember when our third president came on board, President Mwai Kibaki, Vision 2030 was key. It was his own initiative. And it's something that we're still pursuing until now. And I think that's the power of a vision. It goes beyond a leader. I know we'll discuss more about vision casting later on. But just think about Vision 2030. What does it talk about? I don't know if some of us have been able to interact and just to internalize what Vision 2030 talks about. Basically, if you look at vision2030.go.ke, it talks of a national long-term development blueprint to create one globally competitive and prosperous nation with a high quality of life by 2030 that aims to transform Kenya into a newly industrializing middle-income country, providing a high quality of life to all its citizens by 2030 in a clean and secure environment. Yeah, I think one thing is that when you're developing the vision, and this will come clear later on, we need to come up with something that people can easily identify with and easily be able to understand. Because I think sometimes when you have a very long vision, by the time you are finishing to read, people have lost track of what you are trying to say. But for now, that is the Vision 2030. What is the strategy? To achieve this, making or creating a globally competitive country, prosperous nation, and also the issues of making Kenya a middle income country. There were how many? There were 4 pillars. So this is more of a strategy, So you have the vision, but again, you need to unpack that vision. That becomes our strategy. So what do we need? Maybe in resources. Who do we need in terms of the people? When do we need the resources? So in terms of, so the action plan entails all this. So the strategy here is that we need to unpack this into some pillars. So there are 4 pillars: the economic pillar, social pillar, and also political pillar, and then enablers and macro. So this now unpacks the vision, and it becomes clearly as part of the strategy. Again, Reverend has mentioned the issue of building and leading a team. So the Vision 2030 is championed by a Vision 2030 Secretariat. So there is a secretariat that is in charge of that, and they're able to identify the stakeholders and the people that are working towards achievement of the Vision 2030. There is finally the coaching and mentorship. So to ensure continuity, because you might have a long-term vision, a vision even of 100 years or 50 years. So you might have teams that will come and exit the office. So how do we ensure that we are able to have the continuity? That brings the aspect of mentorship and coaching, so that there is sustainability in terms of leadership, and also this sustainability in terms of the people that are key in the implementation of the vision. So basically that puts into context the various roles that the Reverend has discussed, Reverend Kahindi. So let's look at them, reevaluate at a personal level, reevaluate at an organizational level. Has your vision been casted? Is it clearly understood? 2, do we have a strategy? And is the strategy aligned to the vision? 3, do we have a team that we are building? Do we have a secretariat? Do you have a committed team that is championing that? And then thirdly, how do we think about the continuity of the vision? Are we engaged in issues of mentorship, or are we also engaging in issues of coaching, so that we are able to even align the team itself in terms of their strength, but at the same time thinking about the future. So leaders, I think I just felt just to be able to internalize more of this, just to be able to mention that, so that we can appreciate the lesson and also be able to look at our leadership areas and how we can be able to integrate what we have been able to pick tonight. So is there any comment as from here? I will want us to listen to the groups, how the discussions you had. This week was more of a brainstorming. So we just expect some aspect of engagement. It may not be clearly refined, but just that will kickstart the discussions as we talk about the issue of project proposal. So unless there is a comment on the discussions on the lesson, I see Anne, you had indicated a comment. I think that I'll address that because it's directly to me. Is there any other comment, leaders? Any observation, any take home from what we have discussed? Any additional comment, any experience? Okay, I think we are good. So Reverend Kahinde had indicated she has another meeting. So probably, Reverend, we are grateful, and feel free to follow through. And maybe if you feel free also to leave, we are okay with that. So let me invite the teams just to be able to engage and know how your discussions went this week. So we'll start with team 1, where we have Lucy, Pastor Elijah, and James. So whoever is presenting, let's know about your team. You can introduce your team. That is also the key aspect of our discussions. And then you can share your deliberation. Mostly what we want to hear today, have you identified a title for your project? And then secondly, what specific problem will you be addressing? And if you have been able to come up with some objectives, well and good, but if not, we'll be able to work through that. So team 1, whoever is representing the team, please just unmute and continue.
Hello, Chairman, and everyone else. My name is Lucy. I'm representing Team 1. We are with Pastor Elijah and Brother James. Okay, we had a discussion and we gave our project title, Mentorship.
Hello, Lucy. I think you seem to have some connection challenge. Yeah, James or Pastor Elijah, maybe if you can be able to continue as we try to check on Lucy. Yeah, so we are now left with James and Elijah. I think Lucy had some challenge and she's disconnected. So James or Pastor Elijah, please just proceed as we wait for Lucy to come back. So that is the essence of our team. Are we there, James or Pastor Elijah? Oh, good.
Yes, thank you. Trying to find the notes. that I say just what we said.
Oh, she is also back?
Oh, she's back. Yeah, thank God. Hi, Lucy. Hi, Lucy, are you back? Probably she still has an issue with connection.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me just give a brief on what we were able to discuss. Ideally, I think all our topics were coming around mentorship. So one had a passion for mentoring young boys to be able to become responsible men in the society. I think one of the other issues was the other one had a passion to just work with girls so that they are able to maneuver around the different stages of life and still come out as godly, with godly values. So we coiled all of them together and we said we would want to impact a generation with godly values as our objective. Impact or empower a generation by impacting godly values. And then I think that's where she had left. She had given the title as okay. Sorry, I had not made a summary of this, so I'm trying to go through our notes. My brother Ben, you could help me out on this. I think I'm only seeing the objectives. Brother Ben, can you hear me?
James, I don't know if Lucy can also be able to hear you. Maybe we can try and check also.
Yes. Lucy, can you hear me?
Not yet.
Not yet, I believe. Well, our objective, we said just empower, impact a generation with godly values. That entails the mentorship being our main title, and then our objective is to impact or empower a generation with godly values. I think that's it.
Okay. And the problem statement, specifically, what problem are we trying to address by undertaking this project?
Ideally, what came out strongly is the need, especially where we find we do not have mentorship for young men around and the young girls around, leading to a lot of we've had a lot of suicidal cases with the young men, especially the teenagers. And we've also had cases of even spouses turning against each other. So we realize, especially on the men's side, we do not have mentors around who are mentoring our young men to be responsible and have godly values that can really sustain them through the different phases of their lives. Yes.
Okay. So I think one area that is coming out clear, you are addressing a gap in areas of mentorship. So, or a gap or even lack of mentorship. So maybe now what the other challenge is now to be able, it's a very broad area. So you may need to narrow down to a very specific, either specific group or a specific issue within the society. Because mentorship is quite broad. So I think that tends to come out clear. One, there is a gap. And now we also need to show that gap, either from other sources that are out there that have indicated there is a gap. It might be from some articles, it might be from some reports, or you might even want to do a survey to confirm that indeed there is a gap. And that survey can be able to even give an indication on which areas we are experiencing the gap. So one, clearly the problem statement is to address the gap in mentorship. So what we do, refine it maybe to a specific area and to support the problem statement. Problem statement is very important because if we get it right, then the other areas will fall in place and we'll actually be addressing a challenge, because the issue is that there is a gap or there is lack of mentorship, and that is what we want to specifically address. So once we get that right, it will also inform how our title should read, how our title should be refreshed, so that the title is also able to give us an indication, not just mentorship, but mentorship. We qualify the title in a way, maybe addressing the mentorship challenge in this area, or something that is aligned to the problem statement. Again, the problem statement will also inform our objectives. Yeah, so our objectives will somehow be aligned with our problem statement. So that's the challenge I'll give you for tonight. Research more on this area. Research will be very important for us. We'll need to read widely on that particular topic so that we can be able to unpack the information that will help us to support. References will be very important in this project proposal. So whatever we put here, it's not just opinion, it's not just our intuition and what we are thinking about, but we also want to align what we are thinking about with what has been documented, what has been researched on, what can be our supporting evidence. So research, literature review will be critical. Yeah, I don't know if it's clear up to there. James, Pastor Elijah, Lucy, and even for the rest of the team, but specifically for this team, is it clear?
Yes, I think that brings out the specificity of the project, so that we are not hitting all over. We have a specific mission.
Yeah. So always think with the end in mind. What should be the end product, and then we are able to unpack it now. Otherwise, we'll discuss this more as we continue. So just let's get the alignment now. We have identified an area. Now we want to narrow down within that specific area. So in case of any other question, you can engage me directly, but in every session, we'll always be listening more and build up on these particular discussions. Otherwise, thank you, Team One. Thank you for jump-starting the discussions and even being able to connect as a team to come up with this idea. So let's move on to Team Two. Team Two. So we have Ben, we have Reverend Kyoko, we have Anne, and then we have Florence. So whoever is representing the team, please, if you can also introduce your team, then you just proceed.
Okay. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, my name is Ben, and I'm representing Team 2. My team members were Anne, Florence, Pastor Kyoko, and myself. So our topic was challenges facing the elderly in our society and how to tackle them. And we came together and discussed about that topic. And we came together and said that amongst ourselves in our society, we have aging people amongst us. And these people need care. They need love. They need help. And some of the things that came out is that these people, they don't have independence among themselves because they have been left alone. They have no physical ability. They are discriminated because of their age, because when we look around, even in different homes, they are left alone by their children, by whoever is to take care of them. But what we know is that because maybe some of them had some education or had their businesses, they are self-sufficient, and others require care. Yeah, so they require care because they lack some things in their lives. So there are some challenges that we've found that they face, and which we need to tackle and see how we can handle them or help them. One of the challenges is social interaction. When you look at the aging aging in our homes, there is no social interaction. And where there is no social interaction, actually, even to a normal person, aging people, when they suffer from psychological health, by this is caused by things like depression, anxiety, because they are not connecting to the society. They are left alone. And you see, like them, elderly people, though they may not talk about them, when they have, at night, maybe they have trouble sleeping. During the day, they are sad, they look tired. That is psychological health. They need someone to talk to so that they can talk about themselves to the other people. And there are some ways that maybe we say that there are ways we can help these people, is that we can encourage them, we can visit them, we can go and talk to them and listen to them, some of the challenges that they face, so that we can help them health-wise, so that they can fall into depression. The other thing is physical health. These guys, because they are not moving, maybe some are in wheelchair, some they are just, because they are left alone, they can't move from one place to another. There are some, because they don't eat, because when actually an elderly person, because he can't cook by himself, maybe he can't do some cleaning. So there is a time that they can't eat. Even if they eat something very small. And this will lead to reduced muscle strength, and also flexibility. Their bones becomes weak. That increases, it can lead to the blood pressure or the mood disorders in them. So it will be good if we help them to get them out and socialize, to get them out and do some exercise. And then another one is brain memory lapse, yeah? Because sometimes you can tell an elderly person, you can tell her him or her something, but when you try to make her recall what you told her or him, they can't. So they need people to talk to. When sometimes we don't read books. There are times we find we have memory lapse. we try to think and remember what we were taught some other times, or what we saw we can't remember because we are just left alone. We are isolated. That is one of the things that is under the social interaction. And then the other thing is financial awareness. These people, maybe when they are left alone, they have no finances. And to an elderly person, when there is no finance, they become depressed again. There's anxiety, there's self-destruction, there's anger, because they can't do anything because they have no money. Maybe they want something, but they can't do it. So because of lack of finances, they have no work, they have nothing they can do by themselves. They find themselves with anxiety and depression and anger. And then another thing is about mobility and movement. Mobility and steadiness while walking. We saw that they will have unsteadiness while walking, difficult in getting out of a wheelchair, walking or doing anything, which can again bring such a things as mobility problems. Is we see that they can have weak joints, they can have pain in their bodies and diseases because their body is just as they can't move, they are just at the same point all the time. And then there's also daily living lifestyle. Some of these, we have activities of our daily living. These include basic tasks like dressing, bathing, using the toilet, eating, walking. So these are some of the challenges they face. These are what we call living daily, this daily living lifestyle. Because when another thing is instrumental activities of our daily living. These are some of the things like household, cleaning houses, cooking, laundry, sewing. Some of these things they face the challenges amongst themselves because they can't do it. So these are some of the challenges they face. And then we have caregiving. Caregiving for older adults provided by. We have those who are, maybe they have their own families. We need some of them. They have employed people who come and take care of them. But there are challenges because when you don't have somebody to take care of them, they face a challenge. When maybe like me, if I had somebody and I am working, you see, I have no time for them. So I will just first, my priority will be about my work because I have my family I have to feed. So these are some of the caregiving things that they miss in their families. And these things cause isolation, they cause stress amongst themselves. So by the challenges, what we were saying is that we need to understand the challenges that, by understanding the challenges, we can help them in improving their condition by actually coming up. If we can't by ourselves, we can engage other quarters who can come and help take mobility. We can help them move in social activities. We can find some time and help them in a bit of memory, though it may not be perfect, but at least we can improve their living standards. I think, I think those are some of the things we discussed, Bwana Chairman.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ben and the team. Yeah, just listening through the discussions. Yeah, and maybe first is to appreciate that you've been able to pick a particular area, because that was the most important part of today, so that all of us are able to focus on a particular area and agree, even agreeing as a team, this is what we want to undertake. So the rest we'll walk them through. One, challenges facing the elderly and how to tackle them. I would say that might sound more of a research than a proposal. So if you want to make it more into a proposal, then we might need to pick a particular challenge and then propose a solution. Yeah, pick a particular challenge. Maybe it might be one, or it might be two challenges, or those challenges that can be clustered into a common challenge, and then you propose a solution. I'll give you an example of what we call Nyumba ya Wazee. I don't know if any of us has been to Nyumba ya Wazee in Kasarani. Anybody who has been there? Nyumba ya Wazee in Kasarani? Yeah.
No, I have not been there.
Yeah, so Nyumba ya Wazee, it's run by, they call themselves the Little Sisters. The website is littlesistersnairobi.or.ke. And they basically offer care to the elderly. Currently, they have about 72 elderly people, ranging from 72 to 106 years of age. So they provide home care because some of them are sick. Some of them, as you have said something very important about social isolation. I remember when we visited that Nyumba ya Wazee, we went with some items and they told us the items are good, the materials are good, but what these people require most is attention, is just having people that they can socialize with. That was the most important. So this can be an area that can help you just to explore more on this topic. But amongst the challenges that you have identified, one, even for you to be able to identify a specific problem, there's some study that needs to be done. There's some reading that needs to be done. So you can look at this topic, look at any other write-up on this particular area, and then flash out what are the problems, what are the key problems, and then from those key problems decide your paper or your project proposal will address this and this these particular problems. Maybe one problem. The narrower we become, the better, because if you want to offer mobility, then you will be focusing on how do we get probably wheelchair. So it makes you, and it makes your projects to be very, very focused, and you even know who to approach in terms of if you require resources. So one is that take some time to research, especially on the challenges and maybe how they have been ranked. If you get one or two papers that gives you an indication, then you can decide that based on this research, this has been highlighted as among the key problems facing the elderly. And therefore, we want to pick this as our project proposal, and then that will give you even the title of your project proposal. So it will not just be challenges, but you'll be talking about probably addressing mobility for the elderly, something like that, or dealing with social challenges for the elderly. I'm just giving you an idea, so that it's very specific. Then that now will also lead you to the objectives. What specifically are we going to achieve? If it's mobility, probably you may want to explore on avenues of providing mobility equipment, or establishing how you can provide mobility facilities. So that will now inform. From the topic will flow all the way until we're able to get to the very end, which is the solution. So that's the thinking that I will want us to take, Ben and the team, so that we narrow down. Unless you want to make it like as a research, then if you want to make it just like a research, not a project, then we can go with this topic. challenges facing the elderly, and then we'll do maybe a survey or we'll do the research, identify the challenge, and that will be like the end of your proposal, because you now give us, these are the challenges, and maybe there might be some recommendations and some conclusion. But if you want to take it into the area of more of a project, then we need to pick a particular problem and address that particular problem. I don't know if that has come out clear, Ben and the team.
Yeah, that's actually, you have given us an idea of how to tackle it. I think we'll have to discuss about it and see the way forward.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think we had discussed more of the caregiving part of it, because Florence already had came up with the idea, and she said she's somehow doing something. So we were to boost the idea and move on with helping. I think we had come particularly with the challenge of caregiving. I think that's the part we really wanted to work on, if I'm not wrong. Florence, I think Florence can support, because we really thought about the caregiving, what they lack the basic need, they lack food, and then we were saying how no one is taking care of the basic cleanliness, like you can pop in there, do some small work for them. I think that's the direction we are taken. I don't know, I remember well. So we had particularly talked about caregiving.
Okay. So, Florence, is there any comment on that?
I think I can also talk of what Anne has said. We are thinking more of caregiving, because we realize that sometimes they are in a very dirty environment, whereby we can give them a clean environment for them to live healthy. Also, the points that Bernard had come up with, they are also very key and very important. Yeah.
Yeah, so I have shared the website for Little Sisters, nairobi.or.ke. And as I said, for the other groups, this will entail a lot of reading, a lot of researching, so that whatever we are coming up with is well researched. So if you're talking about caregiving, that is good because it can cover a number of areas that you have talked about. So caregiving, you can now talk about maybe social challenges within there. You can talk about psychological challenges within there. And also maybe there was an aspect of economic empowerment also that came up, and the mobility. So then refine your topic to ensure that caregiving is key. It comes out very key within your topic. Yeah. I hope that is okay for Anne, Florence, and Ben, refining the topic to make sure it captures that aspect of caregiving.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, so look at that website. Maybe it might give you some hints. Yeah, so the beauty of identifying a topic, it now helps you to start reading more on that particular line. So from now henceforth, when we are talking about project proposal, your reading now will be more directed on this particular area. So, and surprisingly enough, you will discover a lot of information as you read it through. And maybe you look at what you had at the beginning and where we'll be ending, and you'll be surprised the amount of information that you've been able to pick from that particular subject. So let's put our focus there, and then we'll refine that topic and come up with some specific objectives by next class, and then we keep on building as we move on. So basically, as I mentioned from the beginning, we are looking just at a challenge that is out there. We are looking at, do we have any capability? Do we have any special skills any probably special inclination towards offering a solution in that particular area? Or do we have capacity to pool resources? So we look at a problem, we think about ourselves, and then we're able to come up with something that can be able to address that particular issue. So I want us to pause there for tonight. I felt we just engage a little bit on the project proposal so that we make it a little bit clear. I'll post something that will guide you as we move on. So by next week, let's look at how the topics are now refined and also the comments that we have shared. You can share your write-up in advance to me. I'll be able to make some comments, and also there are other people that I will share with, and then we'll provide you more insight as we move on. Otherwise, maybe we can pause there for tonight. Unless there is any comment. Sawa. So if we are okay, let's keep pushing on. Remember, our buzzword is all about resilience. We said we'll stretch a little bit, especially between now and the end, but that stretching is important. It will help us just to be able to uncover something that we'll not be able to cover just in our own very comfort environment. So as we stretch more, the more we'll be able to discover and learn. So thank you so much, leaders. We appreciate your commitment, and may God bless you. Let's do this again, and we'll be meeting again on Tuesday, but we'll continue to engage in the course of the week. So maybe we can just unmute and close by sharing the words of grace together. Okay, may the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ and the love of God, the Spirit, be with us and forevermore. Amen. So thank you so much. God bless you.
Amen.
And I'm happy that we've been able to connect. Have a blessed night.